Hey there and happy holidays. This is Jessica from jewelrytutorialhq.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make these Christmas tree wine charms. You can also make these as earrings if you want to make a matching set. So this little finding here is something that you can buy ready-made. In this video, we're not going to cover how to make this part. I'm going to save that for another video. You'll find a complete supply list in the blog post that goes along with this video, and I will link to that for you in the video's description if you're watching this on YouTube. You'll need to use a 22 gauge wire that's half hard. I like this German style wire, but you can use any other half hard wire. Please note that does not include craft wire or artistic wire. Those aren't going to hold their shape. I'm using my nylon jaw chain nose pliers here to straighten out the wire, get out any kinks before we get started. And then I'm using the back of my flush cutters to trim the very end. So we start with a nice flat cut. And I'm cutting this piece to be 4 inches long. Using my round nose pliers close to the very tip so I get a small loop here. And make sure the end is not sticking out before you start turning. And you start rotating the pliers away from you. And keep going until you've got a P-loop, so that end of the wire comes back and touches the straight part. Grab your chain nose pliers, grasp that loop firmly, but not too tight because you don't want to dent the wire. And then start pulling that wire around, opening your plier jaws as you go in between and repositioning before you make the next push of the wire. So this is how we're forming a little spiral here. And as you get into a groove, it's going to go a little bit faster. Notice that I'm making just the tiniest little movement here. This is how you're going to get a nice tight spiral. So you're going to keep going all the way down towards the end of the wire so that you form a nice big spiral. Then keep going until you have just a little bit of this wire sticking out at the end there, a little straight piece of wire that's about 5 millimeters long. You've got something that looks like this. Then you can grab your round nose pliers, stick one of the jaws of the pliers into the center of the spiral, and start to pull down the wire. And you can just tug it gently, one little piece at a time, until you pull it into a piece that's like a spiral cone shaped, like this, like a little Christmas tree. You can adjust the spring to your liking. Next, we're going to make our own little head pin. So cut off a length of wire that's about 1.5 inches long. And then using the tip of your round nose pliers, grab the end that you made a flush cut on and start turning that into a tiny little P-loop. This is similar to how we made our first loop, it's just a little bit smaller. Then we can thread on some beads. I'm using size 6/0 glass beads. You could also use, say, 4 millimeter round beads or something like that. And I've got 5 of these beads. I'm going to thread them on the head pin. And then we can thread the head pin up through the spiral Christmas tree that we made. We want to make sure that it comes through the top through that loop. Now we're going to make the loop at the top, but we need to trim off the extra wire here. So I like to measure against my finger. That's how I know how long to cut the piece. So just from the bottom of my finger to just right about where my fingernails start. You can make it a little bit longer if you want a larger loop. So I'm just making the tiniest little loop here. And I'm going to make sure the end's not sticking out so I get a nice round loop. And turn that wire until it comes back and touches the straight part. And see how it's a little crooked off to the side there? We're going to straighten that loop up so it's centered. So this will hang nice and straight. When you straighten it up like that, it often opens up the loop. So you can grab your chain nose pliers and wiggle that piece back and forth as you move it slightly so you get a closed loop. And that's so we can maintain the round shape but still get it nice and closed. And then this little straight part at the end, I'm just going to curl this into another loop in towards the center of the spiral. And I'm just going to push this in a little bit so it's more towards the center. And I like to hook it over the head pin. So if it's the right size loop, it should hook over there. And you don't have to do that. I just like to do that, kind of hold it in place. And then I'm going to make sure it stays there by squeezing that loop tighter around the bottom of the head pin. And then I'll just want to bend that again a little bit towards the center to make sure that the beads are hanging straight. And if you've got any of your spiral out of shape, you can go ahead and bend those back into place. So that's our little Christmas tree. Makes a cute charm. So you could use this as an earring. You can slip it onto a simple ear hook. And like I said before, if you want to make this a wine charm, you can use these ready-made findings. And I am going to make another video where I show you how to make these hoops yourself, but this video is kind of long already. So I'm going to skip that for now. You can just thread this on and you've got a little wine charm or even a little round hoop earring with a charm. If you enjoyed this project, you might also want to check out my last video, which are these beaded cross earrings. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll catch the next tutorial and all the ones to come after that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you really soon.